Joining me now are Darcy and Ingrid, two residents here in Lowville that have been a huge part of this festival as the years have gone on. Darcy, tell me a little bit about how you became involved in the festival.
We lived across the street from Lowville United Church, and the place we lived in was the parsonage for many, many years. And 20 years ago, it became privatized. So the very first morning we were there, a lady knocked on our door and asked if she could borrow some cream for the church for the coffee. And that was about the start of it. We met the minister across the street, and it turned out we were both musicians, and so we formed a band we called the Lowville Major 7th Band, which played for years in and around the Lowville Festival and the Lowville Church, etc. And it was through the band that I got to meet Loretta, who was another member of the band, who was a member of the board of the Lowville Festival. And she dragooned us into working for it.
One of my favorite things we hear often, Ingrid, is voluntold. You know, you sort of become a part of something because you're just sucked into the group, but that often becomes the best part of volunteer service. What has that meant to you, Ingrid, being a part of this group?
Well, I think my main thing, it's a nice small group, and we've made excellent lifelong friends. And you know, it's really nice to give back to this little community, and so that's why we do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, Darcy, what is this festival, the Lowville Festival, all about? Because there's small little components as well, isn't there?
The Lowville Festival original premise was a festival for the arts in all of us. And so the original idea was to tackle as many different forms of art as we could and draw in as many people as we could. Now, we've had every year some big things, like some big events where we bring in headliners, but we always try to tie that into other things where we bring local people in to perform or to demonstrate arts or to demonstrate dance, things that they can do. So we try to make a blend of highlighters, of big namers, but also people from the community performing as well, performing or demonstrating some of their different art forms.
Ingrid, what sorts of volunteer things are you doing? What sort of jobs do you have with the festival?
With the festival? So I think my biggest one is I cook. Oh. That's what I love to do. That's my passion. So I don't only feed us, but also the performers and the crew. And so usually there's about between 50 and 70 people on the night of the event or the weekend of the event. And so that's my major job. And then of course just being a board member, another voice. But cooking is my major job.
It does it well.
What is your favorite part of the festival, Darcy?
I like the work. I've done little bits of stage management, little bits of sound management, and I like getting my hands dirty with the various parts of it. And because we're a very small group, we really, in most cases, can't bring in outside experts and expert professional people. So we've learned the hard way how to run a show with very, very little outside technical support.
It's all hands on deck whenever it's a volunteer service or a volunteer program. Ingrid, what do you hope to see the festival adapt to as the years move forward?
Well, we're hoping that, I think that the recognition of Lowville, what we have to offer, the uniqueness of it. We have a beautiful park, we have a gorgeous old quarry, we have beautiful trails, and we try to incorporate that into the festival. And yeah, ideally that's what we would like, is people to get to know us.
Thank you very much. June is a festival volunteer who had a pretty impactful role, as we heard from Deb. Tell us a little bit about the project you worked on, June.
Right, so I was workshopping a new musical production called Truth and Illusion. And as part of the festival, we presented it here, and we had about 100 people come out. And it's a provocative show that deals with people who have used illusions in their life to hide their fears. And so there's 6 stories, true stories, of people who have done this their whole life. And the arc of the play is the unbreaking of that illusion and truth coming through.
Being a part of the Lowville Festival,
Yes.
I would imagine it's such a special spot, and I would imagine that there's a real sort of exciting component of being a part of this. How has been a part of this festival been for you?
Well, it's such a homegrown kind of feel. The community here is incredible. They come out, they support, they continue to support. Like for my show, for example, even after I did it here, I did it at another church, been workshopping, and they continue to support all the events. And it's a really grounding in nature, and a lot of the shows are done in churches and parks, and it's just a huge community kind of everybody contributes to it.
It's one of the things that we like to talk about. The show is called Community Cultures. We like to talk about the little groups of community that are created through activities such as this. How has your community ebbed and flowed and changed since you've been a part here?
Well, just driving here tonight, I felt a wonderful connection with the park, with the people. As soon as I walked into the park, it was just wonderful because it brought back a lot of memories and a lot of times of the work that we've done here, and the greeting of everybody has just been amazing. So I live in the Oakville community, but I frequent Lowville and this community festival all the time. I think it's been on for 4 or 5 years, and I've been here every year, to support it.
What is your hope for the festival moving forward as it continues to grow?
Yeah, I hope it addresses sort of the social issues that are happening in our communities, and if it's rooted in supporting mental health through theater, through film, through community events, bringing children involved, getting them involved in the community, and if that supports any of the social issues that are happening in our community and making people feel just like they belong. I mean, one of the strongest components of getting better is the feeling of connection. And this certainly, I hope that this continues to do that, is to allow people to feel connected to something. And it truly has for me, so we'll just hope that it grows and that we can do more.
Kuhn has a special project that he's working on alongside the festival here. You've been with them for a couple years, and your roles have changed. What are you working on now?
Basically, we're creating a story about the love letter to Burlington, to Burlington from the Lowville community. And it's been amazing because there's so many stories here that are so enriched by love. And I feel like when you see the people, not only the fact that it's a beautiful spot, but the people are so beautiful here. So it's been a pleasure. That's
what Community Cultures is really about, Kuhn. As I was mentioning, it's just sort of that collectiveness of like-minded people that are excited and passionate, that get together and really good things happen. And that's definitely the story here. What has been being a part of this journey felt like for you?
I keep on saying it's weaves. There's been a lot of weaves I've been just seeing, like, whether it be Loretta or Deborah or some stranger that we come across just walking through the park. So I think what's beautiful is like the human spirit, is just been so prevalent here, and especially because, the fact that we are in a valley in this beautiful space, but then when you're here and you have that open heart, you kind of sparkle the other heart. So it's been just amazing just capturing that concept, because like I was saying to the crew here, all I'm doing is just sitting there and just capturing what's happening. I'm not directing anything, which is the magic. Yeah, the magic is certainly felt from the second you walk into Lowville. It's just inspiring as it is. I'm sure you've had many moments yourself, Kuhn, where things have just inspired you. What has been that one moment, if you could touch on, that just stands out? Yeah, you're right. There were so many moments, but I think there was one moment we had an experience here, and there was this gentleman that came up, and he said, what, this is an older gentleman. He said, this is one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. The only thing I wish is if I can live to the next one. And so that was a much powerful statement, because it's something that is a chapter mark in a person's life, and not just some kind of experience that he's coming by for 1 week only thing. So, yeah. What do you hope that you can see from the festival as it grows and changes? What are your hopes for the festival? I think what they've created the foundation of just supporting artists and inclusivity, and then giving that interactive feel. And so having more of that interaction, more of the communities coming out and saying, like, look, maybe an artist who might not have someone to a canvas to paint on, to have more canvases to paint on. So just to have more interaction of inclusiveness of the artists and the community together. So that's my hope. And ultimately, all good things require partnership and collaboration. Yes. What types of partnerships and collaboration have you seen here? It's, you know, one of my mottos is collaboration over competition. So just for the space of like providing space, Walt providing the sculptures, people providing the wonderment. So I think just everybody kind of, and I love what it is, there's no hierarchy. It's pretty much, like I said, weave. So you have people, and the other day I was talking to an artist and he said the most beautiful thing to me. He said, you know, for my art, I create it, but the viewer finishes it. So I think that's what happens here. As much as, you know, God who creates this community, and Deborah and Walt and Loretta and Bob have created this festival, it's up to the community to come out and really like breathe the life. So it's a beautiful weave.
Incredible. Thank you very much, Kuhn. Thank you.
Yeah.
Elise is the artistic director, the very special artistic director that Bob talked about, and this incredible project that everybody's looking forward to. Elise, you're the creative director of the choir. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I am. So I'm the artistic director of Myriad Ensemble, and Myriad is a local choir to Burlington, a local women's choir, about 30 voices, and we just had so much fun filming in the quarry. I think we did, it's hard to remember now, this was back in the summer, I think we did 3 pieces, maybe 4 pieces, and what an experience to be able to be surrounded by all this rock and singing and filming and making music in this natural space that has natural acoustic. It kind of felt like if we could put ourselves in Rome. That's kind of what it felt like, the Burlington version of Rome. So
I love that, the
fun.
Burlington version of Rome.
Yeah.
The word magical keeps getting thrown around about that moment, the piece, things that are coming all through this festival. What has it meant to you to be a part of this festival and part of this journey?
Oh, it's been outstanding. I think when we come together as a community to create these magic moments, and you see all different art forms come together, and yet it all works seamlessly, is quite amazing. It's wonderful to see the different disciplines and how dance and guitar and spoken word and choral music, they're all artistic art forms, and yet they're all local people here to Burlington, and we have all this talent within our community. So it's quite special for it to all be in one place and be premiering together.
So this is a big deal, but I imagine now that we've achieved this big deal, there's probably more and the wheels are turning. What's next for your piece and your contributions to the festival moving forward?
Oh, well, we just so look forward to doing it live one year, whenever that can be. I think for us, that would be the next step. We'd love, like, doing it virtually is so much fun, and certainly these pandemic times, I mean, I could not ask for any more, but to do it live one day with a real audience and for them to experience the sound that the few people who were watching got to experience that day, that would just be amazing.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you, Elise.
Thank you.
Trevor is the artist performing here this evening. Trevor, you're performing a very interesting piece, the Carnival of Animals. Tell us a little bit about what that's all about.
Sure. I'm performing an interpretation of this classical music series, and what I'm drawing from is work as a mime. So I study at the Marceau School in Paris, and what's interesting is I'm studying and performing largely a dead form. Like, no one does pure mime anymore, and as soon as people hear that, they think he has to wear stripes, he has to wear white. So I'm trying to sort of take this into the 21st century and go, what could this look like today? So what is happening tonight is a series of musical compositions, and each is based on an animal, so hence Carnival of the Animals. So there's a movement on elephants and turtles, and I'm getting up and I'm being an elephant and being a turtle and just seeing how that happens in the body. And it's great fun. I feel like when I have kids in the audience and I'm doing the same thing you do at recess, I just kept doing it, and we have tremendous fun in the process.
We've heard throughout the evening the magical pieces that happen here in Lowville and the vibe that Lowville gives. How, as a performer, does it differ when you're in this really creative space here in Lowville?
Well, I come here all the time to this particular spot for the solstices. And I've been coming here for years, just enjoying the sculptures, and the fact that not only the space itself, but the people who come here are now so used to coming here for magic. They come here to experience magic. And that's the kind of energy that's developed up here. And I come from right downtown, and I come up and I go, this is where magic happens. So I was so blessed to go, you're actually gonna perform here, and hopefully magic will hit magic, and off we'll go from there.
We talk often about what it's like when like-minded people that are genuinely passionate about what they do gather together. The Lowville Festival is certainly an example of that. Passionate, artistic, creative people doing really great things and creating a community of their own.